Hello, you're watching Startup Booster, an online guide that will help you to create and develop a successful startup. This video course was created by global platform for startups and investors, InnMind.com. InnMind connects professionals in the sphere of innovations, helps startups to find investors, mentors, and experts, provides with instruments and resources for growth and development of a business, and supports investors with expertise and due diligence. My name is Katerina. I'm co-founder at InnMind.com, and our guest today is acceleration guru, keynote speaker, and serial entrepreneur, Tal Catran. Hello, Tal.
Hi, Kate. Thank you for having me for the second time.
Yes, today we are meeting Tal Catran for the second time, and the topic of our discussion is startups and investors. How a startup can find an investor, what he should not do, and what he should do to impress and to attract attention of the investor. So the first question is, where can a startup find an investor?
Okay, so hi, thank you again. Always a pleasure to be on InnMind platform. And looking at my first lecture, actually, it was a success that we want to copy over and over again. So for the question, well, investors, I think it's very important to remember, are people. And wherever you find people, you will find investors. Now, being an investor on the one side is super cool and great. You get turned to and looked after by so many. But on the other hand, money is always limited. Now, we're not talking about super angels. We're talking about an angel that would probably invest between, let's say, 50K to maybe 150 to $200,000 or euros. And you need to understand that, first of all, looking for them, it's not like they have a sign on their forehead saying, I'm an investor. But on the other hand, for sure, you will find them on LinkedIn. You can find them in different forums. You can find them on demo days, which every acceleration program has. There are different lists on the internet. Like in Israel, we have an angel list. Not commonly done where you can actually advertise, I'm looking for an investor, find me. And of course, and not me being biased, InnMind. So InnMind actually is a platform where it is expected from all parties, being startups, investors, and mentors, to get a win-win-win situation where everyone gets his part. Startup finding investors and mentors, investors looking for great startups, but also some hand-holding by mentors, and mentors looking for everyone else. So I think InnMind is a very good example of such a platform where your needs of finding an investor can come true, can materialize.
Thank you, Tal, for mentioning InnMind. I think it's a topic for even a separate interview, speaking about online means to find an investor. So what I heard from you, there are two major directions, let's say, where startup can search for the investor. It's offline events and online. And the question is, very often we hear from both startups and some opinion leaders that those events like pitch days or demo days, very often the jury there are not real investors, but are some people who stay, let's say, in front of the investors, between the investor and the startup. And that's why lots of startups are thinking that sometimes being the participant of such an event is really useless. What can you tell about this? How can you comment? Is it helpful to be a participant of a pitch, like to pitch in front of the number of the investors, or it's better to find them through internet or through personal connections? What would be the most effective way?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. I think it's a very important question. It's a very important topic, and the topic would be, how many investors really attend a demo day? And I will ask even something else. Why should an investor, being an investor, attend such an event? I mean, if he's an investor, people are looking for him left and right. There are no issues there. I mean, this is very clear. Okay, so a demo day, first of all, advertises and says who is on board or not. Okay, meaning if there's a panel of investors, you will know who are the investors for sure. תודה. עוד מישהו רוצה רק לעבור באמצע? Okay, it's like almost everyone. So okay, so going back. So a demo day, first of all, would advertise who are the judges on the panel. For sure, if there are a VC or angels, it will be known to everyone. This is one. Investor is not considered a profession. So you don't go and learn in university how to be an investor. You do learn how to become a startup. Hopefully you learn how to become a startup. So, but investor, of course, bring tons of experience. So they're needed on the panel not to criticize, but on the other hand, to help, to direct. Now they've got 5 minutes, so they will not direct too much. That's not, again, not the issue. I personally think that demo days should have more clientele, meaning more potential customers than actually having investors. Again, investors can be reached offline. Investors do not have to attend these events, and it's up to you to find the right investor. Okay, so and again, I do agree with the sense that while promised on a demo day you're going to have investors, 98% of the people there are not investors. Okay, but so why is it important to attend a demo day even if you're not presenting? So you do get experience. You see, you get ideas about presentations, you get idea about how to convey, how to do storytelling. You hear questions from either the audience or the panel themselves. So I do warmly recommend people do attend demo days, not for the reason of looking for investors, but getting yourself, more experience, grind yourself a bit more and participate. If you're there just to look for investors, I do agree it's a bit a waste of time, but again, depending on the event. Of course, event of the big accelerators and so and so. And listen, if they already advertised on Facebook, LinkedIn, their website, wherever, who is coming, I mean, you've got the name. Why should you go there? Take the name, invite them on LinkedIn, pick up the phone and call the investor. You don't have to attend there because 100% sure he will not have 1 minute for you. Okay, so you will be struggling with everyone just to get his attention. Don't do that. Don't do that. While you do approach an investor, and this is before you ask the next question, do not look at investors like a bank, okay, like a cash box. There are persons, there are people, okay? My recommendation always, get the most out of that you do. So first of all, you don't just approach an investor and think what you want. Very focused and well prepared. You know who he is. Learn his background. Approach him. Tell him something about himself. Make him feel intimate and at ease. And then you can start asking a question. You've got time to ask. No more. One, always ask for advice. Do not ask for money. Do not try to spit at the investor you pitch. It's not the right time ever to do that. You approach him, you ask him to share his opinion about a problem, a real problem that you have. Believe me, if you pitch well, if the investor is on the same page of interest with what you're now pitching to him, if everything is going like this for 5 minutes, probably he will ask you, do you need money? Or where's the money coming from? Or how are you funded? This is how you want it to play. You want the investor to show his interest in you, and not you pushing him with a fork and asking him for money. In this case, you get two good things. One, you get a good advice. Two, you might get money. Listen, if you're pitching to the guy and he does not show interest, it will not help you to rape him in a way to give you money. It will never happen. It's a waste of time. This is how it plays. Always remember, an investor is a person. He has a good day and a bad day. Things happen to him during the day. He's not a robot. He's not a machine. He's not there to smile all the time and say, yeah, who wants money? And so it doesn't work this way. When you take money from an angel investor, you take money from him, but you take it also from his family, his wife and kids. It's not just his money, okay? You need to take all this into consideration when you approach an investor.
Thank you, Tal, for this comprehensive answer. And I think one of the key aspects that the startup should understand when going to a demo day is that he would not probably at this day find an investor straight away, but he might, first of all, use it as an experience, use it as a test, because we at InnMind, we normally say that the most strict person that all the startups should approach is actually not even the investor, but the client. And if the startup is able to pitch to the investor, then most probably he'll be able to pitch to the client, to the potential client who will give money for the product. And thanks once again for bringing up this topic of the investors as people, as not only those banks who are ready to give the money. And here comes the question: how do investors make a decision? Like, what are the probably key factors that they consider to invest into a startup or not? And how can a startup use this knowledge? How can he or she impress this investor?
Okay, there's for sure not. There are many ways to answer what you just asked me, Kate, because it's a matter of, personal views and personal preferences. This one likes that and that one. We're saying as people very intrigued by people who interest us. Now, again, it is very objective. I mean, what interests one does not interest the other. Still, I think that first of all, you need to practice on how you do it, okay, which is storytelling and pitch presentation. I really, really recommend startups go to YouTube, see videos, learn, practice, join acceleration programs, find a good mentor, practice makes perfect. This is one. Second is that, like every person, you need to find them at the right time. They need to be receptive. Again, this is like gambling, really. I mean, you do not know how his day was, his or her day was up until now where you met them. But focus on what you want to achieve first. Again, could be money, could be advice, could be just a meeting. All you want to do is approach someone and say, listen, I want to meet you. Let's say now you're meeting him in their office. Well, probably they will have more time. They will be more relaxed. They're in their comfort zone. Be intelligent. Be sensitive. You're not there to spit your presentation. Be receptive. You do not say to an investor when he asks you a question, thank you for the question. Please wait for me to finish my presentation, then I will answer you. No. Show respect. You've been asked a question, you answer. Don't be cynical. Oh, it's a great question because my next slide will be, forget all this crap. Be very direct and honest. Okay. Now, investors go for, I would say as a person, they go for intelligence. They go for manners. They go for interest. They want to know that you've got technology. They want to know that when they give you their money, you will know what to do with that. Show them that you really respect and thankful for the investment, and for sure, which is more important, that you will know how to manage their well-earned money. Okay, so show them the plan, show them how serious you are, show them that you're willing to bring your own money into the picture. Also, if it means going to the bank, taking a small loan. Okay, I mean, if you were to say, listen, I'm willing to take 20K, 20,000 euros. Yeah, you give me 350,000 or 500,000. I'm just taking 20,000. This translates into something which is very important, different than taking money from investors, where if you lost the money, he can do nothing. That's his risk. When you take a loan from the bank, for sure, you need to return the loan to the bank. If you're serious enough to show the investor that you so much believe in your idea, that you understand you're taking a risk as well. I mean, you can find yourself in 2 months with nothing, still having to return $20K. It's still money. You still need to return it. So this is how important it is to reassure the investor that you know what to do with his money, that you're gonna treat his money well, you're gonna do good things with the money, okay? And you will bring some of your own just to show how much you believe in your own idea.
So, and here actually, yeah, that's a very good point, because lots of people are saying that the investors are looking at the personality. And here I think you specified that they're looking not just at the personality, but whether this kind of personality can develop the product, whether he gives this impression impression of being sure that this person will fight for the money, will fight for the clients. And then in this case, when he as well has some risks, like the loan in the bank or some other maybe loans among friends or something, then in this case, investor can be more sure that this person is really 100% involved.
I just want to add something. I think it's wrong to look at investors and see only money. Meaning, you need to understand that when an investor invests in you money, he also puts his reputation on the line. When you turn to others, when you present, when you approach a customer, and the question pops up, I mean, how did you raise money? Who is your investor? And let's say you answer Kate, and let's say the customer says to himself, that's a useless startup. I mean, this technology is going nowhere. Of course, this also reflects on Kate, the investor. Now, you only wanted to give the money, and they only wanted to take your money. No, it doesn't work this way. So always remember, the investor, once he invests in you, invests money, but also his name and reputation. Take care of that as well. Understand and also know to present it the right way, that you were not only funded by so and so, but his reputation goes along, tags along with the money. Be very careful how you deal with that.
So that's the topic of, I think that we started as smart investors, smart investment, that includes not only the financial help, but also the advising and some networking help, like that investor can also bring in, not just the money. Okay, and could you tell me, like, what are the maybe 3 major mistakes when a startup make while approaching the investor or while looking for funds?
Okay, I think first mistake is turning to investors too early. Turning to investor is not a whim. It's not a decision of a moment. You need to make sure you're ready for an investor. The investor will also demand or ask things for himself. Okay, so he gives you money. The transaction is very simple. You want to get as much money as you can with the minimum equity to give to a person that wants to give you as little money as he wants and get as much as equity as he can. But this is not true. Meaning, if you think like this, you're thinking about a one-time deal. No. If this transaction happened, this investor is going to be with you for life. You do not think of a person that you're going to share the bed with as someone that you can trick and say, you know what, I want to get as much money and give you as little as I can. I mean, the guy is there. He stays with you. He's now tagging along, or you tagging with him. Suddenly, in a way, you've got yourself a boss. You're not master of your own decision by now. Now you need to advise him as well. You want to go left, he wants to go right, you need to discuss it. Think before you turn to an investor. Understand that you're in a point, not just startup-wise, saying, well, if I don't get the money, well, we cannot do it. No, 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 no. Am I, as a person, ready to get a boss right now? Am I ready to get a partner? Is everyone in the team okay with this, about someone else also taking part in the decision making? Again, regardless of money, regardless if we can pay salaries or not, if we have stretched it enough. This is the first question I always ask startups when they turn to investors. Are you ready for an investor? Second is, okay, so if you've decided you want to pursue this, make sure you understand what you need to give for it, and always remember, most cases, since now the world is a global village, investors get turned to from all over the world. It's not anymore like a startup approaches an investor from the next neighborhood or my street. Now I can approach investors in India, in Russia, in Switzerland, wherever I want. So understand that when you turn to an investor and showing something interesting, it needs to be interesting on all levels. Interesting as technology, interesting as a business, for sure interesting as people, as a team. Okay. This is why I'm saying it's not a whim, it's not a one moment decision. It's a long process to get to this decision. Have your technology ready, have a clear need, have a business model. Okay, technology, people, of course, need, business model. Get that figured. Okay, third, as I already mentioned, when you turn to an investor, understand he's a person. Understand you need to show respect. Understand you need to be very focused on what you're going to ask him. Okay? Again, it is a process and it's a friendship, probably for life. It is not a one-time shot. And you know what I see? I see in some cases the startup is so much not ready, then when the investor says, fine, I'm going to do the investment, he still convinces him. He's not believing the answer, yes, I'm going to invest in you. He's but why shouldn't you? I said, yes, I'm on. This is why you need to be also very direct and focused about the investors that you meet. You need to change, you alternate your pitch according to the investor. Okay, it's not a block that you put every time on the table. And again, it will not happen in the first time, not the second, not the third. It is a process. It is several meetings. And I say this this is the last thing I want to say to startups. Do not sell your souls to the devil. Do not be a slave for money. I know how hard it is for someone to flap some dollars in front of you or euros. Okay? I'm saying this not because investors are the problem or they're persons. I'm saying sometimes you have this gut feeling, this is not going to play well. This is going to have a bad ending. Listen, get advice, talk to others, understand again, you got the money is now in your pocket. For you to give equity is not something that hurts you. You don't feel it right away. You will feel it in time and not now, okay? Understand that you're doing it for the right reasons. Understand that you can handle it, okay? And the rest will play itself. That's life.
Thank you, Tal, so much. So the major thing that every startup should do is not to rush and just blindly run after all the investors, but first of all, sit down, calm down, and put all the strategic and tactic ideas on the table, and decide whether he really needs an investor at this point. And then already, as you mentioned, as you said, the startup should understand what kind of the investor he needs and where and how to find him, and every time adjust the strategy. Thank you, Tal, so much today for the wonderful discussion, for this very insightful interview. And we hope that all the startups enjoyed it, and you can always write questions in our on InnMind and in our channel on YouTube. You can approach us very easily. You will have all the contacts just below this